So good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's well. And what I'd like to do is spend a few minutes just going over something that kind of came to my attention this week. I was talking about a good, special old friend, old mentor to Darcy and I. Very blessed to have had this relationship. We go through life, and I think it's special that you can have a handful of folks that are willing to mentor you and coach you, and in the process really become dear friends. And one of those individuals was Paul J. Meyer. And I went back through some of my old trainings to just kind of see what we had done with Paul, and so I've got something really that just I think is special, and I want to share it with each of you guys. And since this is a group of winners, I want to talk about winners for a minute. So Jane, I'm going to share my screen, and here's what I'd like to do is, everybody, as you're listening in, you're going to see me go through probably just 8 affirmations. There's 12 affirmations. I'm going to go through 8. And as you're looking at this, I'd like you to take a look at what affirmation, means something to you. And I'm going to save a few minutes, and I'd like you to share how that affirmation has maybe been applied to your life, or how you would like to use that affirmation to apply something to your life. So I'd like to make it a little bit more interactive. So just think of it from that perspective, and jot down a note. But this is kind of share time. So let me find it. And where do I have it? This is probably right. This is probably right here. Let's just see. All right, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Can you see where it says attitude is everything, Jane? Do you see that?
Yes, we do.
All right, let's just go through this together for a minute. If you guys want me to put this up on Shield Nation or send it out to you, I will. And again, always understand, this is I'm coaching the coaches. I'm teaching the teachers. Hopefully every one of you take notes. Hopefully every one of you come with an expectation to receive. But when I say that, a teacher or a coach is going to take notes from a different perspective. You're not students. You've all been around the block too many times. You've all, been part of the business. And I don't care if you're 3 days old, or you're 20, 5 years old in Legal Shield like me. You are going to take a position of strength to help to coach and mentor others who are maybe interested in this fabulous opportunity. Okay, so take your notes from a coach's perspective. Teach to teach, teach to teach. All right. So, what you supply. Well, this is each one of you. So I'm speaking this, to every one of you that are on the phone, regardless of whatever's happened in your past, regardless to what others have maybe said. All of us have probably had a teacher say something stupid, a parent say something stupid, a friend say something stupid, a coach say something stupid. We go through life, and sometimes the things we remember, are the things that we should have put in the garbage, can a long, long, long time ago. Because I know one truth, and it's what the Lord says, that each of us were fearfully and wonderfully made. Period. End of story. It's really that simple. But an ancient, bit of ancient wisdom says, so just read with me here. If you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always gotten. This means if you want to improve your life in any way, you must change your thinking and attitude as well as your behavior. Through these changes, you can take control of your life and direct yourself toward the goals and objectives that are important to you. This is one thing that I just loved about Paul Meyer. And for some reason, I feel I was pretty fortunate most of my life, because I was always able to carry a fairly healthy attitude into anything and everything I did, whether it was good, whether it was bad, whether it was ugly. It just didn't matter. I always knew and had an expectation that something positive would come from it. And let's just read that, the very first one. Winners can be recognized by their attitudes. They are consistently positive in their thinking. As an example, I expect each day to be a day of achievement. I look for positive results and take action to produce them. Even when I got started in this business over, 37 years ago, being no-showed as much as I got no-showed, being turned down as much as I got turned down, I never looked at the results. I just knew that I was going to get better. If I saw 100 people and 100 people said no to me about the product, about the service, or about the opportunity, I knew that I was 100 times better having gone through the numbers than had I only did it 5 times. Every single opportunity, I had a positive attitude, a positive expectation that something good would come from what I was learning in this process. All right. Number 2, winners are willing to pay the price for success. I do whatever is required to achieve my goal. I take action willingly and enthusiastically. I loved the game of basketball growing up. I was very competitive. I came from a single family. My mom left, or my dad left when I was in 6th grade. I was raised by my mom. She worked 3 jobs to get her master's as an educator. I raised my brother and sister. And really, sports is kind of what saved my life. And I just had a desire and I had a love for all sports, but specifically for basketball. And I knew that when I was in the middle of winters in Michigan, cutting the fingers out of the gloves and going to my friend's basketball court and shoveling the snow off of the court and shooting at night, I knew that I was doing something that my competition probably wasn't doing. I knew that the people I would be competing against as I got older were probably sitting in their family's warm living room under a blanket watching TV, probably. I don't know, but that's just kind of what I thought. And I just knew that when I got on the court to compete against these people, I knew that I had an edge. I knew that I had an advantage because I was willing to do what they weren't willing to do. Number 3, winners make a personal commitment. You and I are committed to the achievement of our goals. We stick to our purpose until it's accomplished. Number 4, winners accept responsibility for their actions. I didn't always make the right decisions. I didn't always do the right things, but I promise you the buck stops here. You know, it's okay to say, hey, I messed up. It's okay to say, hey, I'm sorry. It's okay to say, hey, I blew it. You know, as a matter of fact, humility is probably one of the greatest traits that any one of us can have. Where am I? Number 5, winners expect to succeed. They live with a positive expectancy. I want each of you always to live with a positive expectancy. I want you to look in the mirror. I want you to say and speak the truth about who you are and how you were created. You are a winner. You were born a winner and you were made to succeed. It doesn't mean that we won't experience some headaches, some trials, some tribulations. As a matter of fact, Warren Buffett, Steve Jobs, I can go through Henry Ford. I can go through, names that we know, Abraham Lincoln, Booker T. Washington. I can go through every successful, Mark Cuban. I can go through Rip Mason. I can go through Harlan Stonecipher. I can go through, every successful person you and I have ever read about, whoever we know about. They've gone through trials and tribulations. And this is one of my favorite sayings. If you're writing it, if you're taking notes, write it down. Circumstances don't make a man, they simply reveal him to himself. I'll never forget some of the challenges Darcy and I were experiencing in our early days. This was before Legal Shield. Our sponsor, Jeff Roberti, said, John, the bigger the problem, the bigger the paycheck. Leaders bring solutions to problems. Leaders rise above challenges. Leaders press through barriers and trials and tribulations. Leaders press their way to the top. Leaders ascend to the mountain. They don't descend to the valley. Doesn't mean that you get halfway up the mountain and don't get knocked down to the valley. You just have to start and go again. All right. Winners use their creative ability. That's the beauty of how many times we get told no. That's the beauty of kind of fighting through the process, because we start to get creative and we think, well, wait a minute. I don't want to experience that pain again, so I'm going to do something different. I don't want to experience that kind of rejection again. I do something different. We just kind of have what I call RNA, refine and advance, or what some of us call a plan, do, review. Plan, do, but take a moment and kind of review maybe how you can look at it or get a little bit creative to do a little bit different. All right. Number 7, winners take positive actions that reflect their commitment and personal responsibility. I take action to move toward my goals without waiting for someone else to tell me what to do. I know what to do because I've worked out a plan of action. I spent my early years out of college working in the oil industry, 100 miles offshore on oil rigs. And 12 hours a day, I had somebody always telling me what to do. And they weren't real kind about it. All right. That was just a crazy era of working on oil rigs. All right. I just didn't want to go through the rest of my life having someone else telling me what to do when deep inside I knew what I needed to do. And that's why in your notes, you might want to put why, the mysteries of the mind. Why is it many people will work harder for a boss than they will for themselves? You see, I'm looking at Jane nodding her head. Jane is the CEO of her company. Jane wakes up each day and is employed by Jane. All right. Jane has to ask herself a question at the end of the day. There's Jane 1 and Jane 2. Jane 1 is the CEO, and Jane 2 is the person who works for the CEO. Would Jane 2 be fired or promoted by the CEO at the end of the day? All right. There's some days where John 1 needs to be fired because I didn't do the thing. All right. But the majority of days, and you can see it in our results, I would have been promoted. Okay. I think that's a good way to look at things sometimes, you know. All right, let's see. We take positive actions. Number 8, the results obtained by winners are often above average. Their progress is consistently forward, and the rate of their achievement is often faster than normal. The results obtained by winners are above average. The reason is they're normally committed to pressing through that process faster than others. Remember in Darcy's Habits workbook, one of the great chapters in there is understanding what we control, the hours we work, the presentations we do, and our attitude. I don't know what got in my head over 35 years ago when my sponsor said, the more people you see, the more money you'll make. There's safety in numbers, and it's a law of averages. It was the same thing I guess I learned as a kid in basketball. The more I shot, the better I would get. The more I shot, the more I missed, the sooner I would start making. The more no's I got, the sooner I would start getting more yeses. I don't know how many people it would take for me to come across a Pamela Summers or a Bridget Paquette Parker or a Jane Lehman or a Carol Escher. I don't know how many. If it took me 1,000 no's to find someone like Jane, would it be worth it? Absolutely. All right. But here's the number. Here's the reality. What I lacked in skill, I made up in numbers. But watch, what I made up in numbers, I gained in skill. All right. I don't know if it was going to be 1,000 people to find someone like Cliff Malloy. I was just willing to go through those numbers to find someone like Cliff. I don't think any one of you will have to go through 1,000 to find someone like Cliff, but you got to make a decision. Are you going to go through 5 a week? Are you going to go through 50 a week? So just something to what's the word I want? Something to dwell on, something to think about, something to
Reflect.
Thank you. That's even better yet. See, mastermind. So the bottom line is like each one of you, I choose to be a winner. Just like you guys choose to be a winner, I choose to be a winner. Let's just see this. So if you wait. So this is from Paul. You have within yourself seeds of greatness. You are born with the potential to succeed. You can refuse to believe in your potential. You can neglect it and never know the exhilaration of being the best you can be, or you can choose to believe in that potential and use it to rise to new levels of proficiency, performance, and productivity. Refuse now to accept anything but the very best for yourself. Don't accept anything but the very best for yourself. Why is it the immigrants can come to this world? Let me say it again. Why is it the immigrants can come to this country and achieve greatness, and yet the people who grew up in this country are sitting on the back burner looking for some type of entitlement. And I'm not saying that's anybody on this phone. We're all seeing what's going on in this crazy country and world that we live on. All right. I want somebody to pay for my student loan. Are you kidding me? Nobody paid for my student loan. All right. I never expected anybody to pay for my student loan. I took the loan out. I got an education. I'm responsible to pay it back. All right. The immigrant that comes to this country isn't looking to get a job at Microsoft. They're looking to start their own company. And you can see the companies that are started day after day after day after day because they find a solution to a challenge. Refuse now to accept anything but the very best for yourself, because that's who you are and that's what's in you. When you believe in yourself and the capabilities your creator endowed you with and capture the power of positive expectancy, you gain the slight edge. It's a powerful competitive advantage. And here's the beautiful thing. You guys are all part of this. You guys probably teach us maybe even better than I do. That's the beauty and the slight edge, you know, and that's what we'll just go down to right now. That's the wheel of life. It's the simple daily disciplines in our finance and our career. I had a friend of mine out in Castle Rock, Colorado. He was a Vietnam vet. He was quite a bit older than me, but we really grew a great friendship. He was $55,000 in credit card debt. When he told me that, I drew a blank stare. I didn't know what to say. I was astounded, you know. But we had a conversation, and we created an accountability aspect with each other. Iron sharpens iron. And I said, look, you don't have to get out of debt tomorrow or at the end of this week. Well, let's put a plan together where we help you help yourself get out of credit card debt and not paying that 18% interest in 6 months. So we just had to do the slight edge, just a few simple disciplines to attack that issue that had confounded and actually put him in jail over the years. And I don't mean literal jail. I'm just saying, when you got that kind of baggage, your shoulders can tend to hurt. You know, behind me, look at my bookshelves. This is one of 3 libraries in my house. You know, I've got 4 books on my desk. My wife reminds me of it before I go to bed. She goes, why can't you clean your desk? You've got all these books up here. Sometimes I just want to read a different book. I don't know what I'm in the mood for. So I got 4 or 5 different books going. All right. But mental education, you know, we can get our 4th and 5th and 6th masters or PhD when we're 50, 60, and 70 years old, because we continue to feed the mind, right? Physical and health, social, cultural, spiritual, ethical, you know, family and home. All right. I didn't do everything. I didn't always do everything right as a parent, but I tell you what, I sure had a chance to learn, and I sure had a chance to get better. And guess what? You can sure make up for some lost time in an awfully quick way. I wasn't the best husband for my first 8 years because I never witnessed a good husband. I never witnessed a good father. I never witnessed a good marriage. I didn't know what it looked like. It's not an excuse. I didn't know, but guess what? After 8 years of thinking I had an idea, I was willing to change, and I was willing to look at those around me who could teach me how to be a better father, a better husband, and a better partner just in life. And today I can tell you, as you guys know, my best friend's my wife. I love her more today than I've ever loved her. And we're going on 36, almost 37 years, and it just seems like 3. So enough of me. Tell me what some of maybe you got from any one of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8, and kind of, you know, how you've used it or how you might like to use it. And if you don't mind, raise your hand and, you know, give us a minute. Give us a couple minutes. Jane?
Yeah, John, I'm curious. You said at the beginning it said there were 12, and you
Yeah.
gave 8.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
there are 12. I went through the first 8, and the other 4 following up the Wheel of Life.
Ah, good. Well, these are all such good lessons. Every one of them is something that we could chew on, you know, and probably have a discussion on for a half hour. Patrick Powell, see you have your hand up.
Yes, good afternoon, and thanks, Mr. Hoffman. That's wonderful.
Patrick, you're welcome. Nice to see you.
Sure do. The one for me was number 2. Winners are willing to pay the price for success. I do whatever is required to achieve my goal. I take action willingly and enthusiastically. Right now, this would be my first convention in Oklahoma. And yes, it's a strain financially, but I've gotten my tickets, I've gotten my hotel, and I'm working on the flight to go. And this is how I do it. Saturday, we had a super Saturday out here. Don Thompson was here, and I invited 16 people. And out of the 16, one answered and said, I'll be there. They didn't show up, but I was there. And when I spoke to Mr. Thompson, he even said, that was great, because I said, this is where I get my training from, because although they're not here, I'm setting the example for everyone that will be in my organization to move forward. And I'm really grateful. And on top of that, I left from associate to senior associate. So thank you very much for this training. Thank you very much.
Patrick, thank you so much. I got goosebumps. And when we see each other in Oklahoma, come back up, introduce yourself. Let me give you a big hug. Thanks for sharing. And hey, man, listen, you're doing better than me, because the first meeting I had 30 people I invited, and I got no-showed by 30. So you only got no-showed by 16.
John,
I'm proud of you, my brother. I'm proud of you, man. Way to go.
John, I'm going to interject here for a minute. Now, all of you from Success Partners know what I'm about to do. We need a big woohoo here. So this is an experiment, John. On the count of 3, everybody's going to unmute and give Patrick Paul a huge woohoo, and that is 1, 2, 3. Do it, guys! All right.
Keep it up, Patrick.
And now everybody mute back out. We know how to do that.
And let's Jane, let's go to Michael Hill.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Hoffman. So what I got out of it and was number 2 as well, but it was a lot to do with your story when you spoke about the work ethic of shoveling the snow to practice on your craft of playing basketball. I too am an avid basketball player out of the great state of New York, and I remember days and nights like that. I'm not a quitter. You know, I do keep adding the necessary habits by making sure I'm on all of these calls and surrounding myself around positive people. I'm in it to win it. Work ethic is essential, and so that's what I got out of it, and I continue to add those type of habits.
Fantastic. Well, Michael, thank you for sharing, and it's always good to see your face. And you being from New York, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So we're on the same page. Robert Bagley.
Thank you, John. The one that struck me was winners are creative. I am creative. I have had various goals in my life, and I have been persistent in finding a way to achieve them. And that is also true for Legal Shield. I have not achieved the end point that I want to get to at this time, but I will get there. So back to you, John. Thank you.
Well, Robert, I've had a chance to know you over the years. You certainly are creative. I've always enjoyed our conversations, and for every single one of you who haven't quite got to I won't say the destination, but maybe, haven't reached your goal, whatever it might be. The fact that you've been able to stick and stay, the fact that you're still in this game, speaks to the winner that's in you. So, Robert, keep up the hard work, and it's always good to see you, my friend. Stacy Madrid. You're on mute, Stacy.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
The one that stuck out to me was number 3, and I'm actually taking criminal justice courses, and I decided to take those courses to learn a little bit about it since I'm with Legal Show. And I just finished one of my courses, and I start tomorrow on a new one, and it's about critical thinking. And I am committed to doing those goals and just moving forward. And back to you.
Oh, that's great, Stacy. Well, congratulations to you as you pursue your criminal justice degree and as you work Legal Shield at the same time. I mean, what a great parallel as you pursue that in light of what we're doing for equal justice under law. So fantastic. Great to hear from you. Jazine Duncan, how about you?
I think they all apply, but winners have to take personal commitment and achieve your goals. And it's your responsibility to do the actions, go through the no's, and persist to achieve your goals. I think they all applies, but you know.
Yeah. Hey, Jazine, I'm with you. They all apply, and sometimes tomorrow one might stand above the other, and the next day it might be another one. But
You have
appreciate
to be committed. Commitment.
Yeah. Commitment is 100% right. Well, thanks, Jazine. We appreciate you. Brenda, how about you?
John, my past, I tried 9 years to get on the LPGA golf circuit. Like most people, you don't make it. So I already knew I was against the odds. And after 9 years of trying, hey, I need to move forward. And but I did play the minor circuits. So that really gave me strength in this business. And so I'm looking at number 5, winners expect to succeed, live with positive expectancy. But with my business, which is little on the hiatus right now, I know that I'm going to succeed because I'm not going to quit. And I think you make the decision. The only way you fail in this business is if you quit. So
Yeah.
I'm not quitting.
Yeah, I love it, Brenda. I love it. And you know what, Brenda, I would imagine in making that run for 9 years and trying to, make it on the LPGA, what you became in the process, you probably couldn't put a price to it. Would that be fair to say? You're on mute, dear.
$1 gazillion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, thanks, Brenda, for sharing. And one of these days, you still owe me a golf lesson, so I'm going to take you up on that.
I'm
All right.
ready.
I know you are. Hey, by the way, you did give me a nice tip on shipping that one time we were up in Louisville, so I do thank you for that. All right. Anybody else?
I've got one, but my thing doesn't show my.
Okay. Well, Gwyneth, we can see you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I can't see me, but whatever. Well, for me, it's number 2 right now. I worked really hard for a goal. I missed it. And like Brenda was saying, I learned a lot going for it. What's happened in the last week and a half is I've kind of just like just feel a little wiped out, and I realized I need to do the things that I was doing before to get my energy up, because I am willing to pay the price. I will not be denied. So I'm working on that.
Well, Gwyneth, that's great. You have been in those trenches. I know that you and I have had conversations. I've seen the emails come across, and guys, it's okay to take a break and have to come up for air because you get a little bit exhausted. If you're taking notes, understand that there is an opportunity cost in going 80 hours a week. Okay. Take a deep breath, go for a walk out in the wilderness, do whatever it is that gives you a little bit of relief. Sleep an extra 5 hours in the morning, some morning if you need to.
Yes.
But understand, I've always said, Darcy and I we were taught how to go 90-day cycles, and we would run hard for 90 days. But guess what? At the end of 90 days, okay, you have to come up from there. You can't just turn around and go another 90 just like
Right.
that. You know, and so if you need a long weekend here or you need to take a break here, fine, you know, but you turn around and get right back after it with that consistency of effort, you know, consistency, persistency, and you keep those two at the top of the chart and great things happen. So don't ever feel guilty for needing to take a breath of fresh air, a deep breath, to just kind of chill out for a little bit. Just don't chill out long. And if you've got momentum going, don't chill out that long to keep, don't ever lose your momentum. Bridget,
Yeah.
will wrap up. Bridget will wrap up with you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Gwen, appreciate you.
Good evening, team. I just wanted to share that Rob Hurst invited me to the Ohio Zoom tonight. And I've worked with April and Rob for about 12 years now, off and on, when Ron and I are in Alabama. And I can't unmute because I've been sick today too, but I have not missed a Zoom. And the Zoom that he invited me on was a ring earner, Timmer, $100,000 ring earner. And her mom and her trained together. And she said I was a spoiled 19-year-old. And just spoiled. I took my mom's Dillard card at 19, went in and just kind of spent a lot of money. Well, folks, her mom got the bill and she said, "What is this $1,000 bill from Dillard's?" And she said, "Oh, Mom, you know me. I just love to shop. You taught me how to shop." Well, she said, "You're going to pay me back because you're going to start doing some groups with me. You're going to show and tell." And she said, "What do you mean?" And she said, "You're going to pay it all back." So needless to say, for a long story short, they went and they did, they just went into a marketplace in a town. And the mom said, "I'm going to go here and you're going to go over there. And here's some memberships." And she says, "What do you mean? I've never presented." She said, "You criticized me now for 2 years, dear. You tell them what you tell me and you'll get something, I'm sure." Well, they got back in the car and Timmer asked her mom what she got. And she said, "I only did 2. And Timmer said, "Well, I didn't get any." And then she said, "Well, it takes practice." Well, about 10 miles down the road, she said she pulled out this envelope and there was 12 apps in it. And she said, "I was kidding. I wonder if I paid you up, Mom." And where she was a director in the business making $100,000, her mom, she did pay up her mom in one day, and she was never trained in a group school. So folks, it takes action, and it takes a lot of action and a lot of no's, but a lot of yeses and a lot of fun. Back to you, John, and thank you.
Thanks, Bridget. What a great story. I know Timmer and Debbie Mosley well, and right there is a perfect example that you can even say the wrong things, but with the right energy, you'll find somebody who wants to be a member. So always understand it's your music. It's not what you say, but it's the energy behind it. And people will come from miles around to see what it is that's got you excited. So I know those two well, and they're good folks. So with that, thank you, everybody. My dear friend Jane, you want to close it out? And hey, OKC is just around the corner. Are you guys joining us for the baseball game? Are you at the breakout? And will I see you out there in OKC? That's what I want to know.
Absolutely.
Jane, you want to close it?
Yeah, John, I'm all signed up for the game, for all of it. Y'all, we put it on. Well, for those of us who are on Team Ascent, Timmer's team, there's something up there about that. But this is the time to look for your hotel, Airbnb. If you don't have a roommate, start asking. If you don't have tickets, start asking. It's less than a month away. I can't believe it, John. But, and I take it we will, as you all, we do have a call every single week. It's always this same Zoom link. And we hope to see you next week, same time. John, do you have anybody coming on next week?
No, but I will have, because I will be celebrating my birthday out in Breckenridge. So I will not be with you next week, but I will be thinking about all of you from about 14,000 feet. Okay.
All right. Thank you. Good night.
Happy
Thank
birthday.
you for the opportunity to share.
Thank you, John.
Yep. Love you guys. See y'all soon.
Thank you.
night,
Have a
Thank you.
blessed week.
Not Jane.